Hey guys, Brad Danger here, and there are bad engines, and then there are engines that turn normal people into amateur attorneys. The kind of motors where the owner doesn't say, my car needs a service, they say, my car is betraying me. So let's do it. 10 not ideal modern engines that can absolutely ruin your week, your wallet, and your belief in humanity. And remember to go to winthisidealcar.com to get entered to win your dream car plus cash. Starting with number 10, Ford 1.0 EcoBoost EcoBoom. This engine is the automotive version of ordering a tiny latte and getting charged like it's a steak dinner. On paper, it sounds adorable. 1.0 liter, 3 cylinders, turbo, efficient, modern. It's like Ford took the idea of downsizing and went, what if we downsize the engine and also your expectations for longevity? The big villain move is the wet timing belt. A belt made of belt material sitting in oil because nothing says durable like letting rubber marinate in hot oil for years while it keeps time for the entire engine like it's conducting an orchestra. And then they got cute. Offset crank stuff, fancy engineering talk, and on certain applications they even went, you know what this 3-cylinder needs? Cylinder deactivation. Cylinder deactivation on a 3-cylinder in a real car, and that has to go up hills with humans inside it. That's not engineering, that's a prank. When these things go wrong, they don't go wrong politely. They go wrong in a way that makes you swear your car is trying to escape its own body. And the saddest part is you'll meet people who defend it like mine's been fine. Yeah, and some people smoke cigarettes until they're 90. That doesn't make it a wellness plan. Number 9, Stellantis/PS, a 1.2 PureTech. If you want to understand how a company thinks, look at what they consider an acceptable failure mode. The PureTech 1.2 takes the wet belt concept and says, what if we made the maintenance schedule a fun surprise? Because the engine will absolutely tell you when it's time to change the belt by turning the belt into confetti. And where does confetti go? Everywhere, including places like the oil pickup, which is kind of important if you enjoy having oil pressure. This is one of those engines where the pitch was probably low friction, low noise, high efficiency. And the reality is high stress, high consequences, low trust. You get this creeping feeling that the engine wasn't built for ownership. It was built for leasing, like it's supposed to live a short, exciting life, then get traded in before the bill shows up. And I'm not even mad at the displacement. Small engines can be great. I'm mad at the choices. A modern engine should not be so fragile that one neglected service interval turns it into a financial crime scene. Number 8, Nissan 1.5 turbo 3-cylinder. I'm not saying every small turbo triple is doomed. I'm saying this one gives off rental car that hates you energy. This motor shows up with big promises, good mileage, decent torque, modern tech, and then you drive it and it feels like it's always working overtime. Like it's late for a meeting, and anytime an engine feels like it's straining just to be normal, I start thinking about long-term stress. Here's what really gets me. It's the whole vibe. The idea that we're now putting tiny boosted engines into mainstream crossovers that people buy specifically because they want easy, reliable transportation. Nobody buys a compact SUV because they want to beta test a science project. They buy it because they want to disappear into the background of life and have their car not become a personality trait. And when these do have issues, it's never, oh, it needs a simple fix. It's the kind of stuff that turns into a dealership waiting room saga, the kind of stuff where you learn the names of employees, you start bringing snacks, and you develop a 1,000-yard stare.
Hey guys, real quick, Rocky from New York didn't think he'd win either until he actually did. GTR, cash, flight out here, weekend with us, car shipped home, life changed forever. If you've ever said, I never win anything, this is your moment to prove yourself wrong. Click the pinned comment, sign up, get entered, and go claim your shot. Now, back to the show.
Number 7, BMW N20. This engine is a tragedy because it's actually fun. When it's right, it's punchy. It feels like BMW doing BMW things, and that's what makes it dangerous. A fun engine can distract you from the warning signs. The N20's reputation is basically built around the timing system drama, einen Weisser. Timing chain issues on an engine that shows up in cars people buy because they want to feel smart. It's like buying a German car to feel sophisticated and then finding out your engine has the mechanical confidence of a wet cardboard box. And here's the part that stings. The failure can feel random. You'll see one owner cruising along like nothing is wrong, then another guy is hearing chain noises and losing sleep. Suddenly, you're Googling phrases you never wanted to know. You're listening to cold start videos like a detective. You're sniffing for oil leaks like a bloodhound. BMW people will still defend it because BMW people defend everything. That's their hobby. But if I'm shopping used, I want an engine where the big ticket stuff is not a roulette wheel. Number 6. BMW N47 diesel. This one is for the diesel crowd, the people who love torque and mileage and smugly telling you they're getting insane range. Respect. But the N47 is the engine that can take that smugness and convert it into grief. The big nightmare here is timing, chain placement, and the whole how hard is it to service situation. When an engine's timing system is the kind of job that makes mechanics go quiet for a second, that's not a good sign. There are engines where a timing chain job is annoying, and then there are engines where it's an event. It's not even that diesels can't be reliable. They can. Some are legendary, but this one has a reputation for turning into a ticking clock. And the thing about ticking clocks is you don't hear them when the music is on. You hear them at night when you're trying to sleep, thinking about whether you should sell the car before it becomes a story you tell at parties. Number 5, Ford 6.4 Power Stroke. If you want to watch a grown man stare into the void, mention a 6.4 Power Stroke within 10 feet of him. This engine is one of those moments in history where you can feel the industry learning in real time. Like Ford looked at what happened and said, okay, we are never doing that again. And then they sprinted toward building their own diesel program like they were escaping a burning building. The 6.4 is complicated in a way that doesn't feel like advanced engineering. It feels like we bolted on solutions until it technically worked, and then we hoped nobody kept it past the warranty. It's the kind of engine where you'll hear the phrase bulletproofing thrown around, and the fact that bulletproofing exists as a normal term is already an indictment. People have swapped these out for other engines, not as a fun project, as a survival strategy. That's how you know you're dealing with a monster. The solution is replace its entire identity. Number 4, GM 2.4 EcoTech oil eater era. Some engines fail because they're too ambitious. This one fails because it's too normal and still manages to mess it up. There's a specific flavor of GM 4-cylinder that became infamous for drinking oil like it's training for a marathon. And the scary part is how casually it can start. First it's a little low. Then it's okay, I'm topping it off sometimes. Then one day you're basically in a long-term relationship with a quart bottle in your trunk. And oil consumption isn't just annoying, it's expensive. It turns into deposits, it turns into problems, it turns into that awful moment where your car is running fine right up until it isn't. This is the type of engine that creates second owners with trust issues because the first owner might not even realize they're supposed to check oil between changes. The second owner inherits the consequences. If you're buying used, you want paperwork, you want proof, you want an owner who wasn't treating oil like a suggestion. Number 3, Chrysler 2.4. This engine has a name that sounds like it should be in a jet ski. Tiger Shark. That name promises violence. That name promises fun. And then the engine delivers a dashboard light and a forum login. This is another one that gets dragged for oil consumption. And the maddening part is how inconsistent it can feel depending on application. Some versions behave, some versions act like they're burning oil to protest being installed in a heavier vehicle. And that's what drives people insane. When an engine isn't just flawed, it's unpredictable. Because if it was consistently terrible, you just avoid it. The real pain is when you're like, maybe mine will be fine. That's how the engine gets you. Hope is the entry fee. Like if you don't want to buy a car where the ownership plan includes monitor it like a patient. You want to buy a car where the plan is drive it and change the oil and forget it exists. Number 2, VW/Audi 1.4 TSI problem child years. This is the engine family that makes you understand how someone can build something that's both bland and stressful at the same time. The 1.4 TSI era had versions that were loaded with complexity for what the mission was supposed to be. Daily driving, normal commuting, not a race car, not a halo engine, a normal engine you should be able to ignore. Instead, you got an engine that can be finicky, picky about maintenance, and expensive when it decides it's done cooperating. It's the kind of motor where the car feels totally fine until it doesn't. And then your simple used car becomes a spreadsheet. And here's the part that hurts. A lot of these cars are genuinely nice to drive. They feel refined, they feel solid, they feel German. And then the engine reminds you that refinement is not the same thing as durability. Number 1, Audi. 4.2 V8 chain in the back nightmare. This is the final boss, not because it's the most common, not because it's the most catastrophic in sheer numbers, but because of the combo, the way it fails, where it's packaged, and what it costs to fix relative to what the car is worth. The 4.2 V8 in certain early 2000s Audi applications is the engine that taught an entire generation a horrifying fact. Sometimes a timing chain job is not a service. Sometimes it's an engine out lifestyle, and that's the trap. The car itself becomes cheap. You find one and you're like, wait, why is this performance Audi the price of a used lawn tractor? And the answer is always the same, because the bill is hiding behind the firewall like a villain in a horror movie. Timing chain guides, tensioners, all that fun stuff that should be manageable becomes a nightmare because of access. And in the real world, access is everything. A complicated job that's easy to reach is one thing. A complicated job that requires major disassembly is how you end up with a quote that makes you laugh, then cry, then start considering bicycling to work. And the engine is glorious when it runs, sounds amazing, feels special, which is exactly why it hurts. Because it's not some trash heap that deserves to be forgotten. It's a cool engine with a cruel maintenance reality. That's the kind of heartbreak that creates legends. And look, if you're shopping used and want to find something actually worth buying, do what I do. Use the pinned link in the first comment and search everything at once with Auto Tempest. Because the best way to avoid a cursed engine is to give yourself more options before you fall in love with the wrong car. All right, so that's my not idealist. If you've owned one of these, well, I'm really sorry. If you're currently owning one of these, well, I'm really sorry. And if you're about to buy one of these because it is a great deal, my friend, the deal is not worth the price. The deal, well, that's on you. Drop your personal worst engine experiences in the comments down below. Remember to go to winthisIdealCar.com to get entered to win your dream car plus cash. And like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Check out some of these Ideal vids. I'm Brad Danger. This is Ideal. Promise me one thing. Keep living the ideal lifestyle.